All the time. Awesome.
Everyone's live now.
Can I have this and the YouTube at the same time? Because there's a little bit of lag. I'll see.
Have a little go.
Yeah, Helen, one of the things that I was a revelation that came through today was ask questions rather than give solutions. And that is something that I'm going to has really come through in the last 24 hours for me, is actually stop just giving solutions to everybody. Ask questions.
I'm totally with you. And the thing that I've been saying for the last 4 or 5 days is, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
Line. I try to say nothing, keep it zipped with the with children, and just say, what do you need me to do? And kind of pass it back.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously sometimes they don't know, but it's a challenging but it's very rewarding privileged job.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hello, Emma. Hello, everyone who's watching live. Hi, Linda. Hey. This is, so some of you, Linda, you guys will know. Emma, I'm not sure if we've met before, or whether you've been on one of our calls. This is my Moon Cycles crew. I just thought I'd leave them. Hello, Rosemary. Lovely to have you there. I thought I'd just have them. We were nattering before we started. So I said, are you happy about being live on the telly? And everyone was fine. So here they are. Do you want to say hello?
Like blankety blank.
Yeah, blankety blank. Oh, welcome, Emma. So a little bit different doing it through YouTube live. Hello, Anita. Oh, sorry about the yoga earlier. I'm like really rubbish with comments, but our darling Oana, I figure sorted it all out. Yeah, it just felt like it was, we were doing these really regularly on Zoom, and this whole you have to be there at this time at this Zoom, and then it was very complicated to upload the content afterwards. So I just thought, if it's live, then you can come back to these things, start to create a little bit of a library with these groups and these sessions. So normally what I do is I would talk about the astrology for the full moon, which is today, was exact at 9:15 this morning. But yeah, I've been really feeling the effects for this previous week. It's really been quite Gemini over this week. I don't know about you guys. Have you been noticing a lot of, Sarah, you said communication, definitely been at the forefront.
Lots of ideas on lots of things on communicating coming through, different ways of communicating that I've never considered before, and I've just found myself doing it, and it's had great success.
Yeah, it feels quite well, I don't know, I suppose it, if I look at the chart, I can see a lot of fire, and I can see a lot of it's intensity. That's right, Linda. And I thought but actually the way it's sort of manifested in my realm, and I don't know whether it's because it's happening in the 3rd house, which is about learning and stuff, is that I've just suddenly felt like I'm able to kind of gather information and kind of put some connect some dots, and arguments,
and flowing as well. Flowing.
But as Linda said, then there's this kind of fire energy in there as well, so it can be a bit eruptive too. How about you, Helen? Have you had any Gemini sort of?
Yeah, well, I've kind of had a lot of, like Sarah said, new ways of doing things, and checking myself a lot, being very kind of self-aware and truth. I don't know if that's kind of a part of it, but yeah, sitting differently in things.
Yes, I get that. Yeah, I feel that too. There's some sort of the way of adapting, and I can see the difference in my behavior as well, as to when what a trigger would have done even a month ago, and how I would have behaved from that to how I'm behaving now. I feel like I've learned some integral lessons over this little period of this full moon. So
I think the other thing, sorry.
That's all right. No, I second that. That's how I feel as well.
Mm.
The other thing I've felt is that I have had moments where I've been thinking back over the way I've communicated, and I have addressed that communication to the people that I miscommunicated to. Does that make sense? Without being,
you've been addressing it.
Yeah. So I've had these moments where I feel, oh, I didn't mean that, and I've put that out there, and that's not what I meant, and that's not fair, and I need to clear that up and make that good. And then I've gone back to the person that I've said it to and said, look, I need to hold my hands up here and just explain to you that that was the wrong thing that I said, and I'm sorry, and I've taken responsibility for it, which again is, you know, quite revelationary for the ram over here.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. Long may it last. I'm just thinking, oh my God, is this just a blip? And I'm suddenly going to go back to being really impetuous and ungrounded. But,
yeah, it's. Do you know what? It's a weird. I'm quite childlike in ways, and I felt like an adult this week. Does that make sense? In terms of the way I'm communicating, we had I ended up doing a crafting day with a load of 8-year-olds, my son's little class, because they've got to decorate their classrooms. So we decided we'd make a load of like paper chains and stuff. And this little boy came who's a full boarder at 7. He sleeps at school all the time. And we were super excited for him to come. But he arrived and he didn't want to be there with us. He wanted to be at the cinema with the rest of the boarders. And the inner child in me was wanting to go, well, for goodness sake, we've gone to all this effort. But I found this inner calm and understanding and gentleness. And I sat on the stair with him and I was like, I totally get it. I would want to be at the cinema, or I wouldn't want to be doing crafting here either. And we talked and I was reassuring. And yeah, he was quite tricky all day, but it was just this calm and this kind of adult state that I don't recognize in myself very often. So it was really lovely, actually. I felt quite.
That's great. That's so good. I think it's like, you know, there's like a definite I suppose a revealing of the conscious, those of us that are becoming conscious, like consciousness has been expanding for some time and contracting at the same time. So some people are actually recoiling into fear more, and those that aren't recoiling into fear are expanding into love. So it's and it's nice to see and to hear you and know, well, I obviously already know which side you're on, but it's really interesting to see the polarity, because it is a world of polarities at the moment, and how that expansion of love can really hold space for the ones that are struggling right now. So that's really ultimately what it's about. So basically we have a little Telegram group, Emma, which Oana will invite you to. I think she's really good at backing me up and technically with these things. And I share the StreamYard link so I'm like going live through an app called StreamYard, which allows me to just repurpose the video content for this and have like a little green room in the background. So I can like literally just remove Sarah from the screen like that and then bring her back. And I can pull up like images and stuff on here as well, which is it's just a nice platform to do to host this on. I'm trying something new, but yeah, you're more than welcome to join the Telegram group. There's only a few of us in there, and then you'll get the green room. I think I can have 10 people backstage and bring them on, which is quite nice. So yeah, you're more than welcome to come and join us next time. Okay, so let's just do a little breathing, because I'm feeling like all this Gemini energy is lots of air. So why don't we just bring our hands onto our heart? Just bring your hands onto your heart space. Close your eyes and just connect with your breath. Just watch yourself breathe in without judging yourself on whether it's shallow or deep or croaky or what. And just have a little moment drawing back all of your energy from the day. Bringing yourself into this time and space where you're sat. And feeling yourself receiving that healing energy, the prana, into your lungs. Energizing your cells. And stimulating your aura to receive information. And just taking a really nice, deep, full inhale in, filling yourself right up and holding your breath at the top. Just holding it there and just feeling that energy of air circulating around your veins, going where it needs to, and then exhaling fully, letting go of anything that was stagnant. And we'll just do that a couple more times. So taking a really nice deep inhale in and holding the breath at the top, and just allow it just to penetrate any kind of stuck energy in your body. Let it move around, unblock anything that's a bit trapped, and then exhale fully, letting everything go. We'll do one more nice deep breath like that. So inhaling really nice and full up to your capacity, and holding your breath in for a bit, feeling it even expand into your aura, into your radiant body, pushing out any negativity, anything stagnant, and then exhaling all the air out of you and bringing your hands down from your heart and coming back to the screen. Such a wonderful thing, the breath, isn't it? Like so undervalued, underrated. Yes, so I do have quite a few people here tonight, and sometimes what I do is I go around everybody's charts and just talk a little bit about what area of your life the full moon is mostly impacting, and if there's any particular planets that are getting triggered by this full moon. But as there's quite a few of us, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that at the end, so that anybody who's watching and doesn't want to hear all the astro jargon so much can drop off after the meditation and card pull. So I'm going to bring up the chart for the full moon. Let's just take that. Okay, I don't think you can see my cursor moving around here though, can you? Which is a bit annoying. So I'm just going to have to explain it a little bit. I don't know how, Emma, how new are you to astrology? Do you know a little bit? And Anita, are you completely new? Do you know a little bit? How's your knowledge? Let us know in the chat window. So I think it's quite clear which glyph is the moon in this in the astrology chart. Basically, this wheel is taking a snapshot of the sky, if you like, and everybody has okay, good. So that's good. I'm quite into it. Oh, great. So yeah, so Anita, basically we all have one of these wheels that is like a snapshot of the sky the moment we're born. This is a snapshot of the sky when the moon is at its most full. So if we start on the far left hand side, you'll see in the middle wheel there's some numbers, and the first, these are the houses. So number 1 is in the first slice of this wheel. and then it goes round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And by the time you get to 6, you'll see there's a little glyph, little symbol for the moon. So this is the glyph for our moon. And when we have a full moon, it means that it is opposite the sun. So, this is why the moon is completely bright and it completely ripe, is because they're opposite each other. So the light of the sun is being reflected onto the moon. So even this, seeing it like this in itself, you can imagine how at these times of full moon, this is really about balance. It's really about coming into balance, balancing our moon, our emotional world, our inner world, our receptivity, and our power, our consciousness, our drive, our force, which is the sun, what's giving us life. So we also have, so the sun is that circle with the dot in it opposite. We're in Sagittarius. The arrow with the red arrow is the symbol for Sagittarius. So we're in Sagittarius season right now. And the sun is also right next to Mars. So that's why at the beginning of this call, we were talking about that kind of fiery edge, because Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. Mars is the god of war, and it's very assertive and primal, and ruler of Aries. So it's really got a real spark to it. So there was for me like a little bit of a concern that potentially it could get a bit spiky. But actually then when I tuned in a little bit more, I tuned into this arrows, like the arrow of Mars and the arrow of Sagittarius, and how actually it's giving us quite a lot of direction. And it feels to me like this is the sort of energy which we can really learn from. The Sagittarius Gemini axis in the zodiac, that they're opposite each other, so they have a common theme of learning. Gemini is our immediate learning. It's a learning from our immediate experience. So it's like first-hand playing and trying things out and seeing what they do and networking. And it's both sides of communication. So it's both talking and listening. So this is something that I feel like is being highlighted at the moment, is that how well are we listening as well as communicating? There's and how are we listening to ourselves as well? Are we hearing what are we hearing internally? So there's a lot of like opportunity to engage with our inner narrative during this spell. You may have been seeing since the full moon, the new moon in Scorpio that we had 2 weeks ago, that was really getting some shadows to surface. Like that Scorpio new moon was digging up some stuff from our subconscious. And over that time, we would have either reacted or responded to it. So now by the time 2 weeks later, the moon is full and in Gemini, if you haven't completely gone off like into the off piste and decided, oh, I didn't like that shadowy experience, I don't want to go there again, I'm just gonna, like, I don't know, smoke some drugs and hide in Netflix or whatever, run away. Or you saw it and now really that learning and adapting to what you've been shown is the real gold from this particular cycle. So Gemini also is very adaptable. It can change, like it doesn't need to, it's not fixed, it's mutable. So it's like, oh, I saw what I did there. Like Sarah was saying at the beginning of the call, like I recognize how actually maybe my communication wasn't quite I wasn't quite in my integrity, or it didn't come across how I feel like it should have, and I'm going to correct it. Or, you know, there's ways of adapting. We don't have to keep playing out the same narrative, the same story over and over again. So there's an opportunity and an energy here which is allowing us to, Sagittarius, see the truth, like to actually see what is really happening, and what we're responsible for as well within those situations, and adjust it, make adjustments as and when that's necessary. So it's quite curious as well, like the Gemini. So we're kind of keen to learn. We're kind of keen to unpick things, unravel them, and start to think about our purpose, think about where we're most driven, what areas of life we feel like we want to launch something, we want to progress. This is Mars wanting to take things to that next level and really run with our beliefs. So, but all of this takes a little bit of preparation and time, you know. So Mars can be very hasty. It can do and say things and act with, you know, quite impulsively. So there can be this sort of fire and enthusiasm as well. Like Mars can be enthusiastic and energetic, and that can sometimes get us into trouble if we haven't paused a bit first and thought, now how is that gonna be heard? Or, you know, how it's such a beautiful quality, fire, but it can be taken in a number of ways. You know, I have a quite strong fire. I know Sarah does as well. Like it's something that I've noticed. I noticed during the Scorpio new moon that I had really rejected it in myself, because probably from a very early age, my fire, I'm here, giving off this energy was actually just a screaming infant, and it received kind of a lot of frustration, and I interpreted that as it being bad and getting me into trouble all the time, and unwanted in the world. So it's hello Candy, Sagittarius rising. Yeah. So, and I might show you Helen's chart in a minute so you can see how much Sagittarius Helen's got going on. Yeah, it's a great, like, Sagittarius is very light. Actually, Gemini and Sagittarius are very light. There's a lot of good humor around it. There's a way of being able to soften situations as well. So, and adapt. I think being adaptable and being able to learning axis, Gemini, Sagittarius, being able to learn and being able to adjust is something that, you know, is a real gift. If you're born with like a lot of fixed energy in your chart, like if you so these signs happen to both be mutable, which means that they're changing, like mutable, and they're mutating and changing as energy goes. But you have like other modalities in astrology, and some, like Aries is cardinal, so it's like initiating energy, and Leo is fixed, so it's like it's this kind of maintaining sort of vibration. But if there's lots of if all your planets, or like majority of your planets, are in fixed signs, it's going to be harder for you to change. So, you know, everybody is different in this sense, so every individual will experience the full moon slightly differently.
Jax,
yes,
just picking up on what you were saying about Scorpio season and the fire and you and childhood and stuff, I wonder how many women that have the fire in their charts kind of grew up in households of, you know, our generation, that were kind of the girls had to dampen it down. Do you know what I mean? Because I know I was way too much.
Yeah, I think kids in general, you know, like, I mean, it saddens me when I see children who have so much energy, like they just have to burn it off. Like they're like, you know, they're like a dog. They're like dogs, really. We
Yeah.
have to run it off.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be told, you know, can't sit still. You know, how many
Yeah.
times do you see kind of, it's just a parenting, and I, you know, there's no judgment, because I think if I was a parent, it'd drive me mad, but I don't have kids. So, you know, but when I babysit them, you know, they've got so much energy. And so I understand where
But it's that lack of understanding. Yeah. And I think it's that lack of understanding of fire children that actually that's part of their character, and it's to be embraced and nurtured rather than squished. And I think, you know, certainly, you know, I have a similar situation to you. It was very much, you know, you mustn't be big, you mustn't. I've spent my life being kept small, and it's only now at like half a century that I'm like, no, sod that, I am big and I am bold and I am this, and you know.
Well, I think Emma has just agreed with you there. She's like, she's a wild adult now. She's just said in the
Yay.
comments. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's good to you know, it's good to acknowledge where I think for me, like, it was more I was stifling myself, because I had, when we're infants, one of the things about parenting, I suppose, is that it's not common knowledge that babies will interpret their surrounding energy and create narratives that they will bury in their subconscious, in their unconscious, because you don't remember them first couple of years. But even though you don't speak a language, you feel an energy. So if your parents, even if it's unrelated to you as well, so babies are egocentric. So they just decide that whatever is happening around them is because of them. And then you start to create your core beliefs. So this is something that we're actually been, like, if you're on your path and you've become awakened to the truth of our existence, that we are more than just, you know, flesh and bones, and a mind, and we're a soul, and we're having this experience, and we choose these situations and develop this karma in order to work on it, basically. So yeah, here's a good one. Gabor Mate. Yeah, so this is something that everybody does. So if your parents love you, like, and they really, I mean, my parents loved me, they were great, but it was too late. I was already, like, you know, my dad had already got really frustrated with me as a baby, and I'd already decided I was unsafe in the world, you know. So but it took many years to unpick that and realize that wasn't true. And now, you know, so we have, like, we've been, I talk about it nearly on every call of these, about Pluto moving through Capricorn and getting to the end of Capricorn, and we're moving, Pluto will be moving into Aquarius next year. It spends a long time in a particular sign, and what Pluto does is it transforms, it destroys and transforms. So it's currently going through Capricorn, which is our governments, our systems, our external authority. You can see it getting destroyed, and then it's going to need to be rebuilt. But on a personal level, that's those little stories that I was just talking about. You know, that's those core beliefs. It's like cardinal earth, it's your root chakra, I think. Capricorn, it's like this, the early building blocks of life. So what we're doing is we're kind of working out which ones of them are phony and clearing them out. You know, it's not to say that you won't kind of still feel like little suggestions of it here and there, or you won't still have the same struggles, and like and they'll just disappear, because they don't just magically disappear. You just become aware of what they really are, and it's just a story. And then you're able to go, oh, I'm doing that thing again where I, like, you know, really go beat myself up for having enthusiasm and getting into trouble for it or whatever, you know. So yeah, so it's a really exciting time, I feel. And I do feel like, you know, if you're experiencing this full moon, with a bit of light, and it's illuminating your path, then this is great. But there is one thing I wanted to point out, and I know it's quite difficult to see maybe without my cursor showing you in this chart, but inside the middle of this circle is a big red square. Yeah, and so you've got the sun and Mars on the left, the moon on the right, and at the bottom in the second house, sorry, is Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees. So this is creating a T square. So whenever you have a T square in astrology, this is like the key to harmonizing that friction between the sun and the active energy of the sun and Mars, and the feminine energy of the moon, this kind of more inward learning process. The way to balance them is through whatever is at the T square. So it's Saturn in Pisces. Now, this to me is patience. It's Saturn is about like discipline and patience, slowing down. In Pisces, this is about slowing down and becoming more meditative about in what you're doing, not rushing. This is about actually putting the brakes on a little bit and saying, okay, I see what's coming in. Like, I'm getting the information. I'm grateful for the information, not needing to run with it immediately, taking a bit of time and gathering and being a bit more controlled about what you're picking up as well, because this is something I feel like is really useful to know as well. If you're watching the news, or you're connected in some way to news channels, and you're an empathic person, and it's really hard not to feel so much sadness for the craziness that's happening in so many countries in the world and to so many people. Coming back to that Saturn in Pisces is about controlling your empathy. There's only so much we can do to help. And as a practitioner of yoga, for me, my belief is that if you want to fix anything in the world, you do it going this way. You do it inwardly. So you work on yourself, and you control your empathy, you change your vibration. This is about mastering your vibration. Saturn in Pisces is about finding that peace within and letting it ripple out into the world. So, this is a really excellent time to be harnessing those sort of skills. Yeah. And then remembering, that actually we're all connected. It's all like we're all unity anyway. Like, there's no one person is higher or lower than another. We're all just having an experience, and just at different stages of our evolution. So if when you feel quite reactive, or you feel like the Mars Sagittarius, fast-paced, eager beaver, if you like, is about to take off, it's really kind of learning how to just be a bit more humble, how to kind of be grateful and gracious about what you do with your incoming sources of wisdom. Yeah. And Mercury, let's not forget Mercury. Mercury is going to go retrograde rather in the next few weeks as well. It's going to go retrograde when it gets into Capricorn and come back to about this point, bit before this point. So it's already started its shadow phase. So if I think about Mercury retrograde, I hope I'm not going to fry your brain too much, Anita, but just take like any of this stuff, just let it wash over you. Just like it just trickles in astrology over time. Listen to enough of it and you start to go, oh yeah, you start to feel it. The reason I'm talking about Mercury is because it's the ruler of Gemini. So it's always good to look at what Mercury's up to on the Gemini full moon. And if it's in its shadow phase of its retrograde, it means that 2 weeks before it goes, or about 2 or 3 weeks before it goes retrograde, you'll get some lessons in that theme. Okay, so Sagittarius is about, I suppose, the shadow of Sagittarius is self-righteousness. It can maybe be a bit, maybe a bit too expanded, and it's like and not able to see the individuals, like it sees things from a broader perspective, but in some ways there can be missing details in the people you're connected with. You could maybe overlook people's feelings and things with Mercury in Sagittarius. So this will be like, it's useful to be observing what sort of triggers you'll get around communication and thinking, what sort of incidents occur that you think, oh, I could have dealt with that better in this period, like in this couple of weeks. And then during the retrograde, that's when we get a little look inside our mind. This is when we start to kind of actually turn inwards. When a planet goes apparently backwards, not actually going backward, but when it goes into the underworld, it goes into your unconscious, you see things more clearly about, how and why you communicated or thought things, and you get a look at your thought patterns and your behaviors much better. It's like a window inside the mind. And then when it goes direct again, as the retrograde is over, you have the post shadow phase, where you may get another situation which gives you a second chance. So this is how I work with retrogrades. So at the moment, I'd be keeping your eyes open for any challenges that occur around your beliefs, and how your brain deals with that, and how you communicate that in the world. So, all right. Let me. So as I said before, I will do some personal chart readings at the end of the call, but I feel like it would be really nice to do a full moon meditation together. Let me take this one off. Does anybody have any questions about the chart or anything before I take it down? Any of you four?
No.
Nope. Nope. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So I thought we'd do a little full moon meditation. Let me teach you the mantra first. Let me bring it up. It's called the Antar Naad meditation. It's a Kundalini Yoga moving meditation with mantra for anybody who doesn't know it already. And Antar Naad is basically the essence of sound, means the essence of sound. And this is the mantra. It goes sare sassa sare sassa sare sassa sarang harare hara hara harare hara hara harare hara hara hararang. Yeah, and it just goes around like that. And I'll put some music on, so you can either sing along with it and do the movements, or you can, just listen. It's up to you. Sa translates as infinity. So, and har is more, so sa is more ether, infinity, spirit, and har is more earth, dense, tangible manifestation. So when they're woven together, it's like the totality of spirit working in the mundane world. So what we're doing with the meditation is we're weaving those two energies together, and we're bringing in spiritual energy into our beings and opening ourselves up to be a channel for healing and light and wisdom and prosperity. So all those good things. I'm just going to mute you, Sarah, just in case it's goes a bit skew with. I'm just going to show you the movement as well. I'll just sit back a little bit for this. So you don't need this actually, really. Let's take that down. There we go. That's it. So your hands are in prayer pose, but at your navel. Okay. And you're going, so when we start the mantra, you'll go sare, so you'll start bringing them up. Sare, sa, sa, sare, sa, sa, sare, sa, sa, and then open your fingers into lotus at sarang, at your third eye. And then your hands invert and you go harare, hara, hara, harare, hara, hara, harare, hara, hara, hararang. And then you turn your hands round and you go round again. Sare, sa, sa, sare, sa, sa, sare, sa, sa, sarang. Harare, hara, hara, harare, hara, hara, harare, hara, hara, hararang. Okay. So I'm going to put the music on. We're going to do this for 11 minutes. So anybody who doesn't want to join in and you want to come back in 11 minutes for a little card pull, then that's fine. Just bring your hands into prayer pose and close your eyes. Just turn yourself inwards, and I want you just to set a little intention for yourself. If there's something that you want to call in, if there's an energy you want to call in, or there's something that you're working on particularly, just have a little prayer, request, affirmation, whatever works for you at this point, even if it's just to say, I dedicate this practice, this meditation to my sense of well-being, to my path. Okay. And then just drop your hands that are in prayer position down to your navel. I'm going to start at the navel. I'm going to put the music on, and when you're ready, just you can sing along. And put your eyes are closed and focused on your third eye. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Harare hare hare harare hare hare harare hare 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 ram. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram.
Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Hare
Hare Hare Hare Hare Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Hare 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 Ram. Okay, now just bringing your hands into a little cup in front of your heart, and eyes are closed. I just want you to just sit with your hands in this cup in front of your heart and imagine divine light pouring down into your cup. Let your breath be as ever you want it to be, and make your spine nice and straight. And just fill your cup filling up. Feel yourself receiving cosmic energy from the moon, from the stars, from the infinite. And as your cup fills, just see if you can really harness that vibration of gratitude. Let your cup fill so much that it's spilling out, and let your heart fill so much that it's expanding out to everyone around you. And as you breathe, let that vibration of gratitude and fullness ripple out all through your town, wherever you are. And extend further all through the country. And feel it expanding further still into all the oceans and the seas. Until it completely encompasses the planet. Feeling all of that divine love being shared with every living organism in this earth. And taking a nice deep breath in, interlacing your fingers and stretching them out above your head. So stretching all the vertebrae in your spine. And then exhale and bringing your arms down. Thank you, everybody. You're still with us, Sarah. I thought you were about to nod up. It's a really nice meditation, actually. Perfect meditation for full moons. But it's a good one to be practiced on the full moon. So yeah, I'll put the music in the comments on the video. I do believe the lovely Oana is going to do a little card pull. So I'm just going to pull the rest of us off. And sorry, Sarah, Helen. And I'm going to give you your picture. Here we go. Here it is. Thank you, Oana. Oh, are you muted? Are you muted? Oh. You've got no voice. Why have you got no voice, Oana? Not sure what's happened there. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. It's a good one, huh? Did you want to try going in and coming back again? Because we heard you earlier. Yeah? Okay, good. So Oana has chosen some cards for us. She has just got a couple of technical issues. So I'm just going to let her come back, hopefully with a voice. Anyone has any, if anyone wants to share what they're calling in on this full moon, that would be, yeah, would love to hear it in the comments. What am I calling in? I suppose I'm calling in discipline. I'm going to call in a bit of discipline. My diet. I ate 2 samosas in a hurry earlier, even though the curry I had the other day really affected me badly. But I still went and bought 2 greasy samosas and rammed them in and felt sick. So some discipline around my diet. Oana.
How about now?
Yay.
Yay. So that would be communication in Gemini for me.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yes, Emma.
So you guys, whoever wants, just choose the card that resonates for you most. And if you're still feeling the energy of the beautiful meditation earlier, just connect again with your breath and open yourself to the support and love from below, from Mother Earth. And open yourself to the guidance and love from the cosmos above. And be grateful and sure that you will receive the best guidance for you tonight. And while you will feel which card pulls you the best, I will show you the full moon card. Is this one in Gemini?
Let me.
And it's, oh, perfect. The Gemini full moon card, which is embrace your life. I know it's the other way around. So embrace the flow of life means also to let yourself go with your trust that what you want and what you will need will come to you, especially if you take a step back, reflect on what is truly what you desire and if it's what you desire. And Jacqueline, I thought it was so in connection with Saturn that calls us to patience and gathering and reflect. This card is also about reflect on what is truly what that we desire, and if our values and identity still match with our previous dreams. And the advice would be to get some perspective and keep it true and close to your heart. Also, if YouTube will let me, I will put on a bigger description of the card in the comments later on. So thank you. And now let me see what we have in the comments box. Did anyone choose number 2, Emma? Let's see. So number 2, Emma. It's about Unfinished Symphony, number 10. And this card is inviting you to direct your attention to any unfinished business you might have, unfinished projects, relationships, to where you might need closure, or what you might have a lesson to understand and incorporate at an even deeper level. If that resonates with you, I'm sure you'll know what this is about. So this is number 2 for everyone else who chose number 2 as well. Let's see. We have number 1 for Jacqueline Chand. Sorry, that was number 3. Forgive me. Number 1. I have them upside down because I thought you might need to see them. So number 1, round and around. It's number 25. I will put the meaning of the number in the comments later on. So I think it's a very relevant card, especially for the full moon in Gemini, because this one also invites us to step back and reflect on the old patterns. Are they still serving us? Or is it the time to break the cycle and create a new one? Or more relevant, or even more open to the lessons learned, and even a more creative one. So let me know if that resonated with you, Jacqueline. It is a little bit like the spiral of a shell. It's the of course I can't remember right now, like the Fibonacci sequence as well, which is going round and round, and it might feel so, especially at the beginning, but then it's a spiral, actually. It's an evolution. You're on an evolution flow for sure. So I hope that gave you a little bit of guidance, and I'm sure you'll know what part of life it's referring to. And I'm sure we have a number 3, Rosemary. Oh, that's so good to hear, Jacqueline. I'm so pleased. Well done. And number 3 for Rosemary and anyone else who chose this. There will be bigger and more encompassing descriptions later on under the comments of this video. Rosemary, I love your card. Is as literal as it gets. Number 39, new life for you. New beginnings, new ideas, great life changes, waking up to life. As you can see, the beautiful little fairy is just waking up, spreading your wings, and definitely a new path for you. So I hope that brings you some hope and some joy, because looking at this beautiful card definitely did for me. So this is it, and please visit the video later so you can see the full description. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Oana. That was such a beautiful card, that new life one. Lovely. Very waking up. Thank you.
I love them too. Thank you.
Yes, it was right on point. So, well, this almost concludes the evening. I don't know whether the guys let me bring everybody back in who's the backstage. Oh, no, I've just removed you. Wrong one. There's Helen. There she is. I don't know whether you guys want me to do a little chart reading. I know I normally do for you guys, for anybody whose chart I have. Let me know. Would you like that?
Yeah,
okay, I do brief ones, and anybody who's watching, are you guys fine with me sharing publicly? Yeah. All good?
Yeah.
Rosemary, I know you're with us in the comments as well, and if you're still around and you want me to pull up your chart, I can totally do that. So, and also Linda, I think I can do it for you too. Emma, in the future, if you join us, and Anita, what else have we got here in the comments? Was somebody else I felt?
Candy.
If you guys wanted to join the Telegraph group, we can I can get your charts made as well for this part of the session. So let me just bring up Helen's chart first. Okay, Helen. So we've been learning a bit of astrology together. Yes. This is your yes. So you already know which house it's going to. I'm going to quiz you now. You know which house the full moon is happening in?
Gemini.
It's in Gemini, which means it's in my what degree is it in Gemini?
I think it's 4. Was it 4 degrees?
The 4th house for me. Is that correct?
So Joe, where is it? Yeah, 4 degrees 51 minutes. So you can round that up to 5 degrees.
That'd be my 4th house. Yeah.
Indeed, it will be in the 4th house. So we're looking at if you look down in the 4th house, these stethoscopes, this is the south node of the moon, is at 10 degrees of Gemini, which means, and the cusp of the 4th house, this line that starts the 4th house, is 27 degrees Taurus. So the full moon will be happening in Helen's 4th house, and opposing the 4th house is the 10th house. So you can see actually in Helen's chart quite a lot of activity in Sagittarius, quite a lot going on in the 10th house. So this full moon is really illuminating that axis for you of mum and career, really, homebody and career woman, and public image, because the 10th house is your stage in life, and it's your, how you present yourself, what you bring to the world, and you have a lot to bring to the world up there in the 10th house. So it's about finding some harmony and balance between those two things, really, and allowing yourself, forgiving yourself, if you can't be perfect in both. So this Saturn, the T square that's happening, is right on the axis of your it's actually it's Saturn stuff is happening in your 1st house. So I would say that definitely is about having patience with yourself. It's really about, we talked about patience in the chart reading, but for you, with Saturn happening in the 1st house, it's about allowing yourself to unfurl in your own time, I would say. And that is the key to the balancing that pull between being at home and being the caregiver and the strength of the family, and stepping into your career and what you want to bring to the world. And when you feel that kind of tug of war between those two worlds, it's about remembering that you're like a new shoot of life, like an incarnate that is unfurling at a pace which is exactly right for what you are to become, and to be patient with yourself and what you're, how you're seen, and what amazing things you have to offer.
Oh, thank you. That's absolutely, where I'm at, spot on.
Yeah. It don't really like the astrology. No. Like it's mad. We've been here before, haven't we, with these charts, and said, oh, it's happening in the 3rd house. No, I don't really think it's happening in the 3rd. Oh yeah, 2 days later, 3rd house.
Can I ask how you worked out that it was in my 1st house? The
Saturn.
The Saturn, yeah. How did you work that out?
Yeah, so the cusp of the 2nd house is at 4 degrees of Pisces, and Saturn's at 0 degrees right now. So it's only just in the 1st house by a couple of degrees.
Lovely.
But yeah, that was what I was feeling for that.
Thank you.
And I must admit, so actually, oh no, that's the other way. So yeah, you've got some stuff still happening in Scorpio here, but mostly it's triggering your natal sun and Neptune as well, your psychic ability. So you may be feeling more empathic than normal during this moon, I would say.
Definitely getting lots and lots of, what do they call it? Claircognizance. That's my thing. I worked out the other day, which is that kind of knowing. Claircognizant. I can't even say the word, but that's as I understand it.
Oh yes, yeah, and I would, if you've got time, if you ever got time in your busy life to jot things down, those things like that would be maybe a good thing to do. All right, thank you. And Sarah. Sarah. Okay, so Sarah's chart suddenly got tipped on its head a couple of weeks ago, because we suddenly realized, hold on a minute, that's like 4 o'clock in the it says 4 o'clock in the morning, but it's actually 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So here we have Gemini up here now in the top of the chart. Yes, and actually, you can see that your Saturn is at 3 degrees, Venus 5 degrees, Mars 8 degrees, and the full moon is happening. And we said 4 degrees 51 minutes, which means it's right pretty much on your Venus, near enough, in between Saturn and Venus, basically. The full moon is happening, so you're getting a little bit of an illumination into boundaries, like I would say with Saturn, like your own boundaries around how around your giving nature. You've also got a trigger as well on your Neptune. If you think about the sun is over here in the full moon, is happening with the sun in your 4th house and the moon in your 10th house, same as Helen actually, but the other way round. Is that right? Yes. So Helen's moon was in the 4th, sun was in the 10th. Yes. My God, my brain, because it goes backwards. But yeah, so you're looking at that axis again, like Helen, but trying to create a balance between home life and personal pursuits in your career, in what you're bringing into the world. You're laughing because you know it's the same, isn't it? You feeling it too?
Yes, having had a week retreat, first week away on my own for decades. Lots of things came in around the needs that I have to have time on my own to grow, expand. But how do I juggle that with children? How do I juggle that with my life? But understanding that is a really crucial part of who I am, actually. So massive, and all in the last couple of weeks. So that really does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I again would look at where Saturn is sitting for you, like, because Saturn is quite a key ingredient, I think, in this full moon of how to stabilize that push and pull between the active energy and the passive energy, and the 4th house and the 10th house. So for you, Saturn is happening in the 6th house. So I would say routine, making like schedules, routines, being quite orderly. And this is going to be a bit of a key for you. So allocating time as well to stillness, to doing nothing, because when we think we don't have enough time, I know I'm like probably like a broken record to you, Oana, but yeah, when we think we don't have enough time, that is when it's even more important to do jack shit. Do you know what I mean? Like to actually just close your eyes, only think about your breath, lay on your back, do nothing, and recharge. Because when we have something we're like excited, enthusiastic, or we feel like we've got a big old list of things to do, we can use up so much energy that we get to a point where we're actually like pedaling without any fuel, and we're just actually not really getting anywhere very fast. Whereas if you can just recharge and give yourself 10 minutes flat on your back, only breathing with your eyes closed, just to kind of let gather your resources back, you can do what would have taken you 4 hours in 15 minutes, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Can I butt in there as well
and say
that, like, the last few weeks, they talk about like time is however you see it. When I'm in that kind of busy state, I just say to myself, make time go slowly, and I tell time to go really slowly, and then I have a cup of tea, and somehow time slows down, and I look at the clock and I go, oh good, I've got ages till the pickup. And I tell you, there's something in it if you just ask time to slow down for you, and you take a bit of time for yourself. Well, for me, I must say it's been working. So yeah, try it.
Yes.
I will definitely try that.
Yeah, just say slow down. Make this 10 minutes feel like an hour. Yeah,
we'll definitely do that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to try that as well, because it's been whooshing past that I can't believe. And I think it's like, partly because the sun is setting at 4 o'clock, which is, forget actually we've got to that point in the year where it's like, oh yeah, the sun's gone down. It's actually only 4.
Off the back of that little share, totally unrelated, but talking to, I've been playing with something that I saw. Do you ever get the ringing in your ear that literally will go in like a high frequency and then it will hang around So when that comes in, I now go, okay, just turn it down. That's too high. Can you just turn it down, please? And within a second, it's gone. I encourage you to give it a go because it's magic. Just say, okay, it's too loud. Turn it down now. Too high. Turn it down, please. And it literally goes.
And that's how you command the energy that you're in, because they say that we're only 30% of this body, you know, which means 70% is somewhere else, which means that this body is not so much of us, so that you do have an ability to make it do what you want it to do. You know, you command it to slow down, you command these things, and you believe it and you put it out there, you know, you get the goods back.
Yeah. And apparently, because there's the energy is so high on the planet right now, the frequencies are rising at such a rate that the body can't always take on, they turn, it's going up too fast. So you just go, just slow down, turn it down, and it turns down. Anyway.
I know, I totally agree.
There you go. Yeah. Weird
woo. Becoming the master of your space, isn't it?
And becoming the master of our space.
When the ringing comes as well, sometimes I think, right, is that in my head or is it outside? Because there's so kind of vibration stuff, and I have to put my fingers on my ears and work out whether it's mine or it's elsewhere. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like when you're like, your belly rumbles and you think, was that me or was that the person next to me? It's like, do you ever get that? It's like, you kind of throw your belly sounds about. Anyway, moving on to Oana's chart.
Whoa.
Here we go. So
I think it's in second house.
Second house. Yes. So we're looking at the money axis for you, really. The second house and eighth house is your own money and resources, and eighth house is other people's money and resources. So, and you have Mercury up there. It's at 8 degrees, so it's not far off the sun. So we'll be getting a bit of a trigger during that. So I would say that there'll be like, it's about harnessing that Saturn energy again. And where will we find Saturn then? At that T square up here in the 11th. So this is about community, humanitarian projects, things like that. Investing your time and your patience in projects that involve groups or friendship, like moon cycles. Just like, actually, this is, I set this up before she came on. I'm joking. Yeah, so I feel like it's actually, if you kind of feel a bit torn between your own personal resources and all like resources and efforts you need to do for others, or family money, that sort of thing, then maybe you're best to kind of put your energy into meditating on things you can do within the group setting. That's, I say group setting because it's the 11th house where Saturn is, and this is the house of friendships, groups, science, technology, spirituality, humanitarian, future projects. So, it's not about racing ahead again. Like, it's about kind of just, if you find yourself kind of torn between those more mundane material, because it's sort of material, second, eighth house stuff, the emotional and the material, like, and if it gets a bit much, put your energy into meditating on ideas, and developing your own sort of spiritual practices that you can share with others.
Yes, thank you, Jacqueline.
Unless you see anything else in that, is there anything you would say?
Well, the way you calculated Saturn is on the 11th house, is where is Saturn right now in the sky.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was looking, I'm like, my 11th house is empty.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I thought, oh, it must be that. Yes, it must be all to spirituality, and definitely finding the best spiritual practice for me, because I have had challenges with communicating and friends communicating to me, like quite shocking things. And definitely safety and security around money and in general, and emotional safety as well. But that's my thing for forever in this lifetime anyway. But yes, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose actually like the full moon illuminating your second house will be activating Chiron a little bit there. So the wounds around communication, communication to do with like your the how worthy you think your voice is, like, or you know, or your ears are as well, because it's not, like I said earlier, it's not just the active form of communication. There's both sides of it. So you know, when people when we listen a lot and we're like a space for somebody to share, and we hold space in that way, you know, this can be, people can take this for granted, and actually it's something of great value to be heard, you know. And I know a lot of people out there that will have they receive, well, actually everyone receives some healing by being heard and being listened to. So you know, it'll be a good thing to work on your own sense of your self-worth in regards to that, and how valuable you are as a listener.
Thank you. That comes just like a great confirmation, really, because I had last week, I had to find a balance between actually respecting my boundaries and where is enough for me, and actually showing up for a friend that is in a really quite terrible situation. So I had to, because I was feeling myself getting fed up, and then I could just pause and say, yeah, but me in that person's shoes, I would be absolutely all over the place and terrified. So I can show up the way I would want someone to show up for me. So that really helped me find that balance between listening and speaking and respecting my boundaries. Yeah. So yeah, wow.
Yes, it's something, but I think, yeah, definitely the stillness, like, and you know, it's quite a big challenge, that, because you know, you're a very caring person. So actually you like, just listening to you say, oh well, and I had to put I was getting a bit fed up, but I had to put myself in their shoes. But there is, like, you know, then if you put yourself in your own shoes and think, gosh, you know, how much am I taking on here? This is quite a lot. It's good to maybe observe yourself from, and like step out of your own scenario and just say, okay, what would it look like if I wasn't Oana, and I was like, you know, and I was looking at this person taking on all of this other person's troubles, you know, where does the line stop?
Yeah, it was definitely challenging and thought-provoking, so that was good. And thank you, Emma, that it's so good to know.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. It's been lovely having you on here as well. Okay, so I've done you 3 on here. Now let me see if I've got Rosemary's. I feel like I pulled Rosemary's up earlier. Hold on a second. There she is.
Oh, I've just found the comment stream.
Oh, well done, Zara.
I feel like I've moved into a new house and I'm just trying to work out how all the kitchen facilities work right now. Oh, that's so funny.
Well, I think you've done very well, actually, considering it's a whole new technology. Yeah. Yeah, now you can read through all them comments. Here you are, Rosemary, my lovely. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
So you can probably find this for yourself right now, but because we can't hear you, I'm going to jump in and say here is the cusp of the 3rd house. It's 7 degrees of Gemini, which means that the moon will be in the 2nd house. Same as Oana, really. It's the axis of the 2nd and the 8th being activated. So some illumination around personal your personal resources and your personal senses and money and that of other people's. So the 8th house is other people's money, other people's resources, and the merging of two people. So it's about, I would also say this is a bit about your own time and the time that you give to others as well. So similar sort of theme. And again, let's see. Yeah. So you also would be in the 11th house for Saturn. So to balance and to harmonize any friction that you may be experiencing between me and my stuff and my time and my money and my resources, and sharing that and the energy that you have to give to when and sharing that and dealing with other people's stuff to stabilize it is to have some patience with your groups and tune into what you're intuiting as far as your spiritual communities are going. So spending some time with in your spiritual communities and meditating on what that brings you in that area as well. So finding that some grounding around your healing groups, your esoteric groups, and spiritual practices. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so 2nd, 8th house sort of stuff again. Let me see if I can find, I'm just gonna try and do more than one thing on the computer at once and hope that I don't just vanish. Linda.
You won't.
There she is, Linda Smith. Here we go. Linda. Okay, so I need to... I'm learning, Oana. I'm learning how to do these things.
Amazing.
A hairdresser on a computer is not always... Let's see if I can bring it up.
Oh, so I must be YouTube comment.
It was about that spiritual practice and how we communicate with us, isn't it? What the Gemini says.
Yeah.
And also be more kinder to ourselves and give ourselves more credit for it.
Okay. Point taken. Here you go, Linda. Here's your chart. So I don't think we actually have the correct time of birth. In fact, Linda, let me just double check where we were at with your even the day that you were born. Is it? Are we clear about what day you were born? Remind me. We can still have a look at something though. Oh, well done, Sarah. Okay. So if this chart is correct and you were born at 12:30 on the 27th of July, this would be it would be happening in the 1st house. This is fine. Okay, we'll go with this. So again, this is about, so it's not again because it's new. moon would be happening in your first house, about your personal identity. The first house is the I am house of the zodiac chart. So this is all about, who you are, what the world sees, everything about your identity, your personal identity. The polarity of the first house is the 7th. So this is where the sun and Mars are. They're up in the 7th house. This is a house of relationships, which might mean that all that fire is going. You said arguments at the beginning of the thread, I think. So all of that fire and that Mars energy is occurring in your 7th house of relationships. So you're wanting to do your thing, your feelings, you're wanting to learn and grow and explore your personal identity, what makes you tick, get to know yourself even better. But you've got all this like passion and activity and energy in the 7th house, pulling you away from your personal needs. So does that sound about right? As that's what's been going on. We can see again that actually 11th house is really the place to ground and stabilize this. So Saturn would be happening in your 11th house between the 10th and the 11th, depending on what time exactly you were born. It could fluctuate. Like the cusp is here at 4 degrees Pisces. So actually, sorry, Saturn was at 0 degrees, 1 degree. So 10th house. So actually, it's really tuning into what you want to put out into the world as well. So if you want to kind of harmonize any friction between your personal needs and the needs of your relationships, the needs of the others that's going on at the moment, I would kind of spend a little bit of time tuning in to what it is that you offer, like what you want to put out publicly. And also maybe feeling into those groups as well, and your active participation within spiritual communities, and having some time and some discipline as well. Like with Saturn, it's about creating some turning up basically, and being like taking things a bit more seriously. So taking seriously your gifts and what you want to and what you can and what you will and what you want to put out into the world for people, and your participation within groups, spiritual communities and humanitarian projects. There, that's what I'm saying. How was that? It's all right, Linda. All right. Well, we've been on for like a while now, haven't we? So I think it's probably coming up to bedtime. It's Monday night. Normally it's a Thursday night, and I'm usually thinking, oh, I've got to be up at 5 a.m. But yeah, it's Monday night. I don't. That's nice. If anybody who has been watching this stream live with us or watching the recording would like a personal chart reading, you can get in touch with me through my YouTube channel, through my Instagram, however, send me a message. You're very welcome, Linda. And these 3 lovely goddesses that I have with me here also offer great sessions and community sessions. So if you'd like to join our Telegram community and hear more about what these guys offer as well, send us a line. All right. So I'm going to close the space now. If everybody is happy to close the space. Okay, Emma, yeah, drop me a line. We'll do a little chart reading. Thank you, everybody. Satnam and blessings on this full moon. May all of your prosperity come in its enormity and bless your life.
Thanks, Jax.
That's all right. Mwah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely to see you all.
Yeah.
Thank you, my
Thank you for
darling.
joining me, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Emma. Lovely to have you here. See you soon.
Bye.